Welcome here today, ladies and gentlemen, to the Brickyard 400 on NASCAR Heat 5. We get set for action here for the second race of our doubleheader on this Saturday night. So this is going to be a big one. Second Crown Jewel event of the year. First time we've been to Indianapolis on the season, and the only time this year as well for all in NASCAR. The race just going to hop right into this qualifying run. And then we're going to get on with this 400-mile, 160-lap race here today. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream here early on as we hop into qualifying. Gives you guys a little bit of time to perhaps join the stream. Just got to make it to the top 24 after round one. See where Jimmie Johnson will qualify at one of his better racetracks in his career. So we get a feel for the car. Got the controller again here for tonight's race. Really loose in turn 3 here. Trying to get up to speed still though too. Trying to hook it full throttle through turn 4. Off the short chute, going to carry a lot of speed down the front straightaway. Rolling into turn 1, another 550 horsepower racetrack here today. Slightly on the brakes, but not too much. If we can get a draft down these long straightaways, that's going to help our qualifying time, but we don't have anybody to draft off of, at least in round 1. That's okay. I think on raw speed, we should be good enough to get into the top 24, I would have to imagine. Turn 3, a little tight there, running a little wide, but not too bad. Can we carry it full throttle through turn 4 again? Yes, we are. Hitting the apex perfectly. Off of turn 4 to the start-finish line. One lap in round 1 for Jimmie Johnson. What will the time be? 51.554. That is fast enough for 8th quickest in qualifying for Johnson. So a huge step up from qualifying in the last 2 races. Kyle Busch will win round 1. So again, top 24 advance to round number 2. Yep, using the controller today. First time you started from the beginning in a while. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Let's go now.
And we'll see how round 2 is going to go. Top 12 advance to the final round in session qualifying here. Johnson has the speed because he did make it to 8th in round 1. So we'll see if we can get him to the final round and maybe a shot at the pole. Johnson has not qualified on the pole so far this season. And at the end of this race here tonight, we will be halfway through the regular season. And the 13 races of the year will be completed in the Cup Series. See what kind of a lap time we're going to have. Didn't make it through turn 4 as well. Look, really tight in turn 1. Washing way up the hill, about putting it into the wall. That was not a good start to the lap at all for Jimmie Johnson. Gonna have to pick up the pace on lap 2. We will run a second lap because I could already tell the start of this first lap is likely not going to be fast enough to make it A little better through turn 4 that time to set up down the front straightaway. Wasn't perfect though, but a lot better than the warm-up lap. Lap 151.974, about a half a second slower than what Johnson had run back in round 1. So Jimmy's really going to have to try to pick up the pace here on lap 2. Second and final lap of the second round now of qualifying. Hopefully it'll be fast enough again for a top 12. Really solid through turn 3. This car's definitely got speed, trying to hold full throttle through turn 4. Jimmy has to lift and he's in the wall off of turn 4. That is going to cost him a ton of time at the line. I mean, an absolute ton of time. That's going to be an even slower lap than the lap prior. We're going to keep it running here. I wanted to quit after that second lap, but we had such a good lap going until off of turn 4. Johnson's going to pit this time, get 4 fresh tires. We still got about 6.5 minutes left, so we've got time to get a fast enough lap in. I just don't think that first lap is quick enough. That second lap was second off of the first lap after hitting the wall off of 4. That really made this car very pit stops here while we're at it, 55 miles an hour. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel coming for Johnson. S.A.L. Chattel, welcome to the stream. Yeah, the car was tight after I hit the wall. I just got back in the gas way too soon in turn 4. I tried to hold too much speed, that's all. I know that's Mr. Brick down in the chat. Welcome to the stream. LC Brawls, welcome. 16.8 second stop there that time. We still have about 5.5 minutes left. Just looking for one good lap. Johnson's currently 5th on the top of the leaderboard right now. He was 8th in round 1. Ooh, here comes Johnson. That was terrible timing there. Jimmy had to come up onto the racetrack right as Joey Logano was there, and that's going to slow up Logano's lap time. And that is not what Joey wanted to see, and we're going to be side by side into turn 3 now. Johnson outbraking Joey Logano. Johnson's got the fresh tire advantage too, so that probably helps. And Jimmy's going to try it again. Evan Board 23, welcome to the stream. Trying to make sure he cleared Corey LaJoy. Without a doubt, LaJoy got a little bit in the way there. And thanks for those of you tuning in. Man, just entered a little too early into turn 3 again. Had to use a lot of brakes. Saw the rear of the car sliding out because of it. Still can't hold turn 4 either. This is not good. Or we have had to put down for lap. We're still 7th somehow though. I don't know how we're still in the top 12, but just want one solid time that I can feel comfortable with before we go into round 3. Man, John Hunter Nemechek gets in the way. That was a good lap going for Johnson. He had to pass Nemechek around the outside. Trying to hold it full throttle through turn 4. He's going to be able to get a lot of speed there, but now we're just at the point where we've got so many cars on the racetrack. hurting the performance of the 48 car. That was our fastest lap so far in this round. Not our fastest lap total, though. Still our one and only lap in round one was quicker, but I don't know. We'll see. A little bit of a higher line there. Johnson could get in the draft of Eric Jones. This should help out a little bit. Big time draft down the back straightaway. Gonna pull down, gonna clear him. I don't know how much that affected us. I would have to imagine that affected us a little bit. Johnson overdrives turn 3 on the curbing. Trying to go strong though. Through turn 4, not bad. I don't know what to think of how this lap's going to go, but yeah, that lap was slower. I think we've ran our fastest lap for this round. I just don't think we can top it. Still sitting 4th. Still got one more round to go. Something I want to mention too. So if I remember right, when NASCAR had session qualifying on the oval tracks, obviously they still kept it for the road courses, but they got rid of it for the oval tracks mid-season last year because with this 550 horsepower rules package, it just doesn't work because car gets caught in dirty air and they're not capable of running, you know, consistent lap time. So in the draft plays a factor. It's not true qualifying. So they did away with it all except for the road courses because at least road courses, they were still spaced out enough. A lot bigger or longer to get around the track, therefore the cars weren't in each other's way as much. But for whatever reason, I remembered it being that the tracks that were 2 miles or longer, they had 2 rounds. Almirola gets in our way off of 2 here. That's going to cost us time. But yeah, so the tracks that were 2 miles and longer, Michigan, Auto Club, Indy, Pocono, Daytona, Talladega, they were all 2 rounds. And for whatever reason, we have 3 rounds in this qualifying effort at Indy today. And then all the tracks that were less than 2 miles had 3 rounds. So that's not accurate. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was, if I'm not mistaken. Really good getting into turn 1 that time for Johnson, but I think he's going to have some traffic in his way by the end of the lap. I really hope not, because this is a very blistering fast lap for the start for Jimmie Johnson. Got through turns 1 and 2 perfectly. In the draft of Tyler Reddick, trying to shoot the gap into 3. Really loose. Got the left side tires down near the curbing again. Held it though. Oh, and to check out of the gas slightly. Not all the way out of the gas. About 75% throttle through turn 4 at the line. Still not faster than previous times, but we're gonna finish 4th is what it looks like in round number 2. So we have picked up the pace. Lap time dropped off. Honestly, if we had our lap time from round 1, we actually would have qualified 2nd in round 2. So Johnson's got a shot at his first pole of the season here. Denny Hamlin takes the top of the charts here in round number 2. Remember, Kyle Busch had round 1 top time. He finished 7th in that one. So here we go. We got one more chance. LC playing on a PS4. Andrew, welcome to the stream. Eric Jones is replacing Johnson. Is that confirmed, or is that just your opinion? I haven't seen anything on that today, so that's the only reason I ask. But yeah, I don't know. Assuming it's not confirmed, I wouldn't say. I don't think Eric Jones is going to go to the 48. I just don't see that happening. I don't know what's going to happen with the future of know, JGR's program, if Bob Levine shuts his race team down, which is kind of leaning towards that way. I don't know what the future's going to hold for Eric Jones. I'd like to think that they're probably going to go with Christopher Bell over Eric Jones if they had to make that hard decision. I don't see Jones going to Hendrick, though. If they did that, Keselowski's staying in the 2 car. But then it doesn't really make much sense of why they got Paul Wolfe teamed up with Logano instead of keeping him with Keselowski if they knew Brad was going to stay. Well, this has the potential to be a good lap here. We got through 1 and 2 really nicely. Blaney's trying to get up to speed. If we could just get in the draft of that 12 car down these long straightaways, that is going to help a ton for Johnson's lap time. Into turn 3. Hit it about perfectly. Oh, had to check up slightly in turn 4. But not bad. Johnson, this is going to be a fast lap time in the draft of Blaney at the line. What is it going to be? 51.370. That's the fastest lap Johnson has ran in any of the 3 rounds of qualifying. Tried to make the pass on Blaney into 1. Didn't work. That's going to cost him time on lap 2. So he can get in the draft down the back straightaway and try to pick the time up. He definitely had to draft all the way through turn 2. He really draft well at Indianapolis, a much longer racetrack, as he gets to the inside of the 12 car and clear before we get into 3. This has the potential for a fast lap as well, even though we couldn't get around him in turn 1. Johnson might have the pole, ladies and gentlemen. Off of turn 4, we'll see what lap 2 will be. And then we'll end this final round of qualifying after the 2nd lap. No, it was slower. Slower on lap 2. 51.370. 4th for Johnson. Kyle Busch will be on the pole for the Brickyard 400 with a 51.108. Johnson qualifies 4th. Bowman will start outside pole in 2nd. So close to getting Johnson his first pole of the season. Yeah, I could see Keselowski staying with Penske. That been with him for so long. Won him a championship. Travis Pastrana come back? No. To NASCAR? Yeah, I'm on expert. As usual. 105 for the AI difficulty. That's the best qualifying effort on an oval this year. Well, this is considered an oval. It's a rectangle, not your standard oval. But yeah, Kyle Busch on the pole, and we're about to get this Brickyard 400 underway here tonight. Oh, the truck. Oh no, I didn't know that. No, I didn't see that at all. I was on the golf course most of the day. I got caught out there for a long time, as you can see. I got back at like 8:30. I ate dinner after that. Man, that was a slow day. I think I was out there for like 4.5 hours to play 18 by myself. I got caught behind a couple groups that just never let me go. It wasn't even that busy today either. I just had like a group of 4 and a group of 2 in front of me, and none of them let me go. And the group of 4 should have let the group of 2 ahead. It was terrible. But no, 4th isn't bad at all. That's a good starting position here. For sure. Shut up, Eric Jones Google for Jimmy Johnson replacement. It's probably just speculated. I think I would have gotten an alert from the NASCAR app if it was actually... Yeah, I mean, that could be like on a website that's saying that might be a possibility kind of thing, like an opinionated website article, but I don't think anything's been set in stone. I'm pretty sure that's really big news. If it was, I probably would have heard about it. So here we go, folks. The top 6 drivers. We have 3 JGR Toyotas. Chase Elliott starting at the rear. So is Bubba Wallace and John Hunter Nemechek. Chase Elliott, remember we took a look at that point standings. He's 22nd coming into this race today. We are halfway through the regular season after this one. We've had 4 different winners already on the year. And here we go, green flag in the air. Kyle Busch leads the field of the green for the Brickyard 400 on NASCAR Heat 5. Johnson lined up right behind Hendrick teammate here, Alex Bowman. Trying to give him a shot off of turn 2, help him out, but Busch clears Bowman. Oh, Johnson gets really tight though into turn 2. He's going to lose a ton of spots. Johnson had to really get out of the gas. A lot of these guys were able to keep the hammer down. We've got the 3 Penske cars right around us. Johnson back to the inside. Getting a huge run in the draft, 200 miles an hour into turn 3 on the opening lap. As Busch tries to climb away with the clean air. Keselowski to the bottom, 3 wide into turn 4. Johnson gets out of the gas and just lets Brad and Joey go. And Johnson was the biggest loser on the start of the race there, losing 6 spots on the opening lap. Keselowski just sends it in there 3 wide. And now Harvick sends it 3 wide into turn 1. Wow, how did they make that corner? And what a pass! Harvick was able to get by both Keselowski and Logano. Keselowski went 3 wide. That wasn't the case. He just couldn't clear anybody. Wild start to Indy here, and this one 4 wide down the back straightaway. Look at the move Johnson made. And Harvick comes down to block as he tries to also pass Ryan Newman at the same time here. Johnson right back up to 6 just like that. Getting 3 cars down the back straightaway, and now looking on Newman for position off of turn 4. He's all over him. He is there. Trying to get a side draft. Gonna pull away from him now. Down the front straightaway, gonna pull back up, and he's clear up to 5th. Hamlin quickly got to 2nd place. Truex quickly up to 3rd, and Harvick trying to run him down in 4th. As Kyle Busch drives away, Joe Gibbs Racing 1, 2, 3. To start the race, Harvick is catching the 19 and the 11, but this 48 car is hooked up here even at the beginning of the run. Johnson going for 4th now on Harvick. He's definitely got the straightaway speed in the draft, and now slings it underneath Truex for 3rd. Harvick coming right back at Johnson though, looking for the crossover. He is there. Very tight. Johnson trying to side draft, but he gets tight off of 4. Had to get way out of the gas. About ended up in the wall. Kurt Busch trying to help out Johnson now down the front straightaway. Jimmy couldn't hold the outside in turn 4. And if we didn't get out of the gas, we would have ended up in the wall. Speaking of wall, Kurt Busch got tight into 1. And about ran up into the side of Keselowski. What a wild start to Indy here today. Oh. Of course, Jimmy Johnson missed the Brickyard 400 in real life this year due to missing COVID. Or due to missing it due to COVID. With a positive test. Very well could have been a false positive, unfortunately, though, for Johnson. He had to miss the race weekend. Obviously putting him in the situation he is now in the playoff standings. So we're going to try to give him a win in a race in which he did not even get the race in his final season. Again, one of his better tracks. I'm sure he was definitely missing out on the opportunity to race at Indy one more time. Oh, he's got a big run down the back straightaway, 3 wide. And he's going to clear Truex and Hamlin. What a move. Johnson to 3rd. On the brakes hard there. Harvick didn't roll into the corner quite as fast as Jimmy would have hoped he did. Jimmy had to check up. And here comes Truex right back on that 48 car. Big run on Harvick, big side draft down the front straightaway. Johnson's got the advantage into turn 1. Can't quite complete the pass on the 4 of Harvick. He is there. Johnson drives it in deep into turn 2. Gets it to stick and clears Harvick off the exit of the corner. Harvick now gives Johnson a shove down the back straightaway. Johnson now trying to run down the race leader, Kyle Busch, who has about a 1 second lead. Kyle's led every lap so far at the start of the race after starting on the pole. Johnson a little bit faster that last lap. He's running down that 18. It's going to be tough to pass the car in clean air, but we're going to see how that's going to work. One of the more difficult racetracks to pass on in the NASCAR Cup Series circuit. But Johnson is making gains on the 18 of Kyle Busch. He's not going to catch him in time, but he's going to try into turn 3. Johnson slingshots it down for the lead, not trying to waste any time at all, but he can't make the pass on Kyle Busch. Now through turn 4, Busch gets tight. Johnson slides to the bottom, a little contact off the exit of the corner. Jimmy wants to lead here at the Brickyard. Not that time at least. Side by side now into one. Johnson gets tight on the bottom of the track, and boy, that 18 car is able to stick the outside. Johnson drives it in deep into 2, much like he did on Harvick. Oh, but he couldn't stick it, and there goes Busch right back at it and clears. Great crossover move by Kyle Busch. Called 88, welcome to the stream. Oh, he got into the back of him, boy. That 18 car was sliding through turn 3. Say what you want about the Cup Series at Indy over the last decade or so, but this has been a great race so far. Johnson for the lead down the front straightaway, a little side draft, pulls away, and Jimmy Johnson leads his first lap of the race at the line here in the Brickyard 400. These drivers want to just lead at the track quite a bit here, but on lap 9, Jimmy quickly getting to the lead, and I gotta say that's probably the quickest we've seen Johnson get to the lead in any of the races so far this season. Yep, new leader, 48 car. Lap 10. A lot can happen here. So it's going to be an interesting kind of race today when you look at the pit strategy. Because we are going to be right on the border of it being a 3 or a 4 pit stop race today. Remember, no stages. We've seen fuel mileage races in the Brickyard 400 in the past, and I think there's a good chance this could turn into a fuel mileage race today. Knowing the pit window and knowing we're right about at that scheduled distance. Nathan Frago, welcome to the stream. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one as far as the fuel mileage goes. Jimmy Johnson has absolutely brought a fast race car to the racetrack. The 48 team in general has a 2.5 second lead already. We have not seen ourselves be able to compete like this on an oval on the short runs like we have so far today. I gotta say, for something new, this is pretty awesome, honestly. I was not expecting this, especially when we rolled into qualifying and finished in the top 10 and qualifying in all 3 rounds of the session qualifying. 8th in round 1, picked up the speed to 4th in round 2, and qualified 4th in the final round as well. Remember though, this is a very long racetrack, so unless we get long green flag runs over the course of the, really long green flag runs over the course of the race today, it's going to be hard to put a lot of these guys a lap down. Much like you see when we have long run speed. The good news is with us having decent short run speed as well, we can really hold on with these leaders. Busch never got more than a second and a half ahead of us when he was in the lead. He just had a much better start. Of course, with Johnson being on the outside at fourth, that definitely didn't help. If we can control the pace on the restarts, I think we can have a little bit better of an opportunity to hold on to the lead. Just have to wait and see as the race carries on. Yep, definitely going to need a clean race here today at Indy. This is definitely a track that you could easily mess up the corners drastically with these high speeds. Very easily you could get in an accident. So we're going to need to be on our best behavior. Again, when going to pass cars too, you saw how many times it took us to actually pass Kyle Busch. It took us about 3 or 4 tries to actually pass Kyle Busch and stay in front of him. It's so hard to pass, especially with that driver in the clean air, which Kyle Busch had at the time with being the leader. But now Johnson's got that advantage after getting around Busch and now slowly driving away from him. Jimmy looking for his 10th win of the season. Stacking up the playoff points, much needed. Just remember, we have a very tough playoff schedule. I kind of had forgotten about what the playoff schedule looked like until I started looking at it after the earlier stream today, and I was like, I can't remember what order the tracks were in. I remember like most of the tracks, but what order it was in. The opening round of 16 is brutal because we've got Richmond, Chicagoland, and the Charlotte Roval in the opening round. Those are some very tough tracks on this game. And knowing that the DNFs are going to be there, yeah, we won Richmond earlier today, but who's to say we're not going to be able to do that again or even make it through the whole race. So we need as many playoff points as we can get. You never know what could happen in those races. Johnson already approaching lap traffic quickly here on lap 15 actually. But again, what kind of fuel mileage is everybody else getting? Johnson's obviously running faster than everybody else, likely burning more fuel. Oh, he's going to have to quickly take it 3 wide and clear these lap cars into 3, and he did a swell job of doing that. Not wanting to waste any time there. Hard to pass, but now we're becoming a lot faster than these back marker cars. They'll probably be the easiest of the cars to pass. Stay out of our way. Saw how quickly we checked up in turn 3 because of the speed we had on a slower car. Brendan Gaughan there, and Scott underneath him through the short chute so we can get him in turn 4. Waited a little patiently there. Looks like there was a car up in smoke that seems to be already out of the race. So that's very interesting. Now we've seen over the last couple of races very long green flag runs to start the race. I wonder if you're going to see that again at Indianapolis here today. Only going to play into Johnson's wheelhouse. Saw it at Martinsville. We went 198 laps before the first caution. At Richmond, we went 123 laps before the first caution. Stepping into the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis today, will you see more of the same? Richmond total earlier, we only had 6 cautions. Martinsville, we only had 5. You tell the car's a little on the looser side. The right rear is actually wearing out just as much, if not a little more, than the right front tire is right now on the 48 car. It's turning pretty well. I mean, we just held it full throttle through turn 4 that time, and I mean, it's definitely. Alvarola with another terrible run. It's about 3 or 4 races in a row you've seen him struggling right around 20th to 30th place, if not worse. He got in a wreck at Richmond and actually finished in 39th. Alvarola came into this race last driver in on points. William Byram is floating just above the cut line as well, and he is outside the top 20 right now, so that's not looking good for those guys. Definitely going way down to the inside here to get around the next 3 lap cars down the front straightaway. At least Jimmy's putting a lot of drivers a lap down right now, but getting such a long racetrack, we're not even close to being a half a track ahead of Kyle Busch yet. We are about halfway through the field run, 20 laps into the Brickyard 400 here tonight. Tim Jeff, I see you changed your name. Anybody watch the Truck Series doubleheader or even the Xfinity race at Kansas over the last couple days? I actually didn't get to see the races, but I did see the results. Saw who won in all 3 races. Soundbread Entertainment, welcome to the stream. Really thought Austin had it. Yeah, I saw Cindric dominated. Brandon Jones got around him on a late race restart. All it takes, man. Goes to show how hard it is to win a race no matter what series you're in. So hard to win in NASCAR. Watch the ARCA. Yeah, I forgot the ARCA series is racing this week too. How'd Deegan do? I didn't even see the results for the ARCA race. I completely forgot about it. Run on David Reagan. Ooh, caught Clint Boyer in a bad spot getting into 3. Got around him, cleared him off the exit though. Working on Ryan Blaney. Blaney had a better qualifying effort. I think he qualified top 10. I'm just going to get around him on the outside in 4. Didn't see that work earlier, but car's sliding around a little bit more and not as tight as what it was at the beginning of the run, so he was able to make the pass on the outside. No idea where she finished. Well, that's not good. That doesn't sound good. If you don't know where somebody finished, that tells me they didn't have a great finish. Chase Elliott running 16th. Remember, he started at the rear of the field, and he's got side-by-side, 3 wide action right in front of him. He's desperately trying to get around these guys. He's got no room to do it, and he's going to go a lap down now. Bowman qualified 2nd. He's back to 13th. Now only the top 10 are the only drivers on the lead lap. many laps am I going to do? Yeah, we're going to have to take these fuel runs as far as we can here tonight, because this is likely going to turn into a fuel mileage race come race end, because our expected pit window is right around 40 laps. 160 lap race. You divide it obviously by 40, you're looking right at 4. It's going to be a 3, maybe 4 stop race today. It's going to be very close, and it's going to depend how cautions are going to work out today. That might mess with the fuel mileage also, with varying pit strategies, so we'll just have to wait and see. Track position's a big name of the game, so I definitely don't want to restart mid, back of the pack, to have to pit under caution to give up track position, because with it being so hard to pass here and the restarts being crazy with the 550 horsepower tracks, I think it's a little too risky to start or restart mid-pack. Put ourselves in jeopardy of wrecking the race car and getting knocked out early, so definitely don't want to do that. Yeah, I mean, if there's no cautions, that'll play out in my favor for sure. And we're already out to a 29-second lead on Kyle Busch. Busch has about a 3-second advantage or so on Kevin Harvick in third. Mark Truex Jr. fourth, and Kurt Busch rounds out the top 5 right now. No, two of the Penske Fords are in the top 10. There's Custer in 10th. But Keselowski and Logano, we have not put a lap down yet either. A lot of these lap cars have been side by side and 3 wide that we've been getting around as well. So that's kind of interesting. A lot of racing going on mid to back of the pack. Not so much up at the front. We definitely have the best car here. There's, without a doubt, at least in the early going, unless somebody can make an adjustment or two throughout the course of the race to get themselves on our level, but well, we took the lead on lap 9. We qualified 4th. I mean, we've got a very fast race car. Outside to turn 1. So hard to pass on the outside here, but Johnson making it look easy. At this point in the run, it's just those first 5 laps or so. It's 5 to 10 laps. We really can't do it. We just can't hold the top side as well, but around slower cars this far into the run, it's a lot easier to be able to do that, at least out of our car. I'm sure everybody else will still have problems trying to make those types of passes. Trust my ability. Oh, Brendan Gunn moves right in front of us as we were hard on the brakes there to get under him. And get around him. Ooh, Keselowski blocking off the exit of the corner. He's going to shove him on in behind Quinn Houff, using Houff as a pick. Why not get out of the gas? Just bump draft him down the back straightaway, and one way Jimmy was able to put Keselowski a lap down quickly. Not gonna lie, I didn't think we could pull ahead this far on an opening fuel run of the race. Well, I expected this far maybe at the end of the run, but not with about a quarter of the run to go yet. Pretty incredible. Johnson on the outside of Logano makes the pass. Hamlin's going to go a lap down. This is unbelievable. The speed out of this 48 car again. That's going to be the talk of the day. You're already seeing it. Trying to get around Austin Dillon now. Lap 30. For Busch in 5th. We still got about 13, 14 seconds to Kyle Busch. I think he is just fast enough on the short runs too. He can just stay on the lead lap to get into the pit window. He might be able to drive away by a couple seconds before we could start running him down about 5 to 10 laps into the run. Maybe in that amount of time he can maybe get a caution and we can get bunched back up again. Car is loose. Yeah, I mean, it's loose, but loose is fast if he can hang on to it, and I'm hanging on to it pretty good. I mean, although it's loose, it doesn't feel that bad. It probably looks a lot worse than what it actually feels. It might look terribly loose to you guys, but to me, it's not that bad. It just means I can carry just a little bit more speed in the corner. As long as I'm pressing hard in the corners and not backing it down way too much, I can use the flat corners to my advantage with how loose the car is. Doesn't really want to wash up the track as much. Man, 3 wide through turn 4 with everybody up ahead here. And Martin Truex Jr. is in the mix there, trying to get around those guys because he's about to go a lap down now. He sees Johnson closing in out of the rear view mirror. Johnson setting up on the outside here of Byron and Almirola. It's the lane Truex had to go to get around him. And that's the lane Johnson's going to go to the outside of Truex, suck the air off the right rear corner panel, and takes off down the backstretch. Clearing Truex. Textbook maneuver there by Johnson. 44-second lead now. Yeah, we're right on the board. If we could just make it to lap 40, we can just stretch it 40 laps each and every one of these runs. We can possibly have enough to make it on fuel. Kevin Harvick is the next driver about to go a lap down in third. Still got about another 4.5 seconds ahead of him before we get to Kyle Busch. Likely take at least a few laps. See if anybody tries to short pit here. Everybody's kind of strung out, so really the only cautions you can think of can be somebody just flat out missing a corner or a tire giving out, which is very easy to have happen, especially as you get longer into the run. And we're closing in on the end of the green flag run, so that can definitely be a possible issue. Johnson trying to make it back-to-back wins, sweeping both races of our doubleheader. I do have to also say, this is going to be the last doubleheader for a while, I'd have to imagine. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, and I don't have another race that I'm traveling to until Darlington, if they can even get fans at the Darlington race for the Southern 500 Labor Day weekend. So I've got about 5 weeks yet until that point. I think 5 weeks from tomorrow until that point. So yeah, this will be the last doubleheader for a while, but we'll still have one race a day as usual. Daily NASCAR channel. I'm also working on a power rankings video that I'm going to start doing weekly. That video should be out at some point in time before the next race at New Hampshire next weekend. I made a list this weekend, but I didn't want to rush the video out, so I didn't actually make the video yet. And I'll obviously have to adjust the power rankings based off of how the Kansas race went as well, but I don't think I'm really going to make a lot of different moves there, but kind of figuring how exactly I'm going to do it, so I didn't want to rush that video out at the point this week with it being a midweek race. I didn't want to post it on race day, so a power rankings video. It'd be my own power rankings, like how I feel. It would be based off of championship contenders. It'd be like my top 16, you know, of who I think can compete for the title in that order. Not based on what the standings look like. It's more of an eye test kind of thing. Now that we're getting later into the season too, only 7 races before the playoffs, I think it's a good time to maybe try something like that. So yeah, if you're new watching, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We got other videos than just NASCAR Heat 5 full race live streams. Like to do the predictions and post-race analysis videos for the race, give you guys my fantasy lineup advice and reaction to how the team did at the end of the race. And then we'll have those power ranking videos on top of it. Vlogs, whenever I can get back to the track consistently. We only got one this year because of COVID. And that was at the Bristol All-Star race last week. Not this last Wednesday, but the Wednesday prior. So that was a lot of fun. That's been up on the channel for about a week now. Yeah, right rear is wearing out quite a bit. It's down to about 18%. Again, we're going to have to try to push this fuel tank as long as we can. You never know if this thing can go caution-free to the end. Again, we're going to be right on that pit window. We might be a lap short at this point, the way we're running right now. We're going to have to pit this time. We'll be coming out of the pits on lap 40, so I guess it's not too bad. I'd have to assume we are going to get at least 1 or 2 cautions, at least. Some point in time. Just another long green flag run to start. It looks like we're going to get through green flag pit stops at the start of the race here. Jimmy Johnson's going to have to hit pit road this time. We'll be curious to see if anybody else is able to stay out a lap or 2 longer to manage the fuel better than Johnson. Maybe give themselves a shot to win this thing come race end on fuel mileage. So although we are dominating right now, you never know. It comes down to a fuel mileage game and we don't save enough come the end of the race. Be out of luck. 55 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. We were able to practice that in qualifying as we nail that time. No damage repair here. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel, no adjustments needed. This car is absolutely on a rail. First pit stop of the race will be green flag pit stops here for the 48 of Johnson. First driver onto pit road coming from the lead. We are a quarter of the way home in the Brickyard 400 tonight. 15.8 second stop. That was a lot faster than the pit stop we had in qualifying. Remember, that was like a 16.8 if I'm not mistaken, so almost a full second faster, about a full second faster. Johnson gonna pull up onto the racetrack. Oh, washed up the track there. Was a great entry into the corner. Almost carried a little too much speed. We do come out in front of Corey LaJoie, didn't really cost him any time. And Johnson comes out with the race lead. Top 6 were able to get back to the lead lap. Cole Custer in 6th is going to go a lap down now. Might have had some drivers pit along with us though as well. And we definitely have cars pitting this time. Race leader Kyle Busch is on pit road. You see Ryan Newman ducking into the pits from 5th place. I believe Keselowski in 4th is on pit road. I'm not surprised if everybody else is on pit road, to be honest. So 40 laps complete now. So everybody was able to make it 39 laps before hitting the pits. Johnson goes a full lap ahead of everybody. So it looks like we're going to cycle through. Green flag stops, no problem. Battle for 2nd place again is the battle for the free pass position if we get a caution. They will get back on the lead lap. They're only 1 lap down, so still very early in the race. And this is oddly similar to how Martinsville went. Not exactly, because Martinsville we didn't have a short run car, but we were dominating the race 350 laps in or so, and we got into an accident off a restart. All it takes. Ernest, welcome to the stream. Chris Buescher having a solid day in 15th right now. Jimmy trying to make the pass on him. Can't do it. Everybody's on fresh tires. Remember, this 48 car, although it is fast, and it's even fast on the short run, it's just very hard to pass first 5 to 10 laps into the run. Now that everybody's strung out, there really isn't a clean air advantage. Lap traffic being a factor this far into the race. Tight through turn 3. We're going to have a little bit of a story time about my trip to Indianapolis Motor Speedway back in 2018. I went to the Brickyard 400. I figured I'd tell the story while we're racing at the track, and things are getting kind of strung out here just over a quarter of the way through the race. So I went down to the race, went with a buddy of mine, Alex. You guys saw him in the Bristol Motor Speedway video. He was along with me for the ride at that racetrack a couple years ago. So, you know, we went to go to the race Sunday morning, the day of. It was going to be a one-day trip. I was going to go down, or we were going to go down that Sunday. We were going to come right back. There was rain all weekend in the area, and it wasn't looking likely that they were going to race, you know, and if they were going to end up calling it early enough in the morning, we were just going to wait to head down until Monday, and I was just going to call off of work. That's what we were going to do. Well, so I spent the night at his house. Woke up at like 6:30 in the morning, somewhere around there. Packing the rest of, he was packing the rest of his stuff, and the weather looked like it was actually gonna be decent. Like there was gonna be a good chance of rain. I think the rain went down to like 20. Drove all the way there, and we were probably like an hour and a half out from race time. We were just pulling into the parking lot, or into what I thought was the parking lot. I'll get to that in a second. And it just starts to rain, just starts sprinkling, you know, not bad. By the time we get to the gates, it just starts raining, it starts downpouring. You know, it was about a 4-hour drive. And so we were in the track, so we figured, you know what, let's just stay here for a couple hours. Let's go, you know, sightseeing while we're here, because it's a beautiful facility. For those of you that haven't been there or have been there, it's a very cool facility. Almost like goosebumps walking into the front gates and seeing the racetrack. You can like feel the nostalgia of it. So we went to the museum, went to all the concessions and the souvenirs that day, because they were probably not going to be there the next day, and it's a good thing we did, because they work on the next day outside of like a couple small concession stands. But that's the way usually Monday races go, because usually that was the first time I had seen a race on a Monday the following day. But usually if a race gets rained out, a lot of the souvenir like buses, you know, kind of they leave, and the trailers and stuff, they're not there the next day. So we decided, you know, hey, let's get our souvenirs now. Let's go like with our shopping spree, so that way we can come down later tomorrow and just come for the races, and then we can just get out of here as soon as the races are over and drive back home, because I ended up calling off of work on for the Monday as soon as the race got postponed. So again, mind you, it's downpouring rain. We were there for about 3.5 hours or so, 4 hours. It was probably like 4:30 or so when we decided, okay, let's get a hotel room. Got a hotel room booked when we were at the track, and let's go back to the car and let's go to the hotel. So walked back out to the car, and I was like, where's I thought I had parked in a certain area, and I was like, why is my car not here? And then I looked at him, I'm like, did we park here? Like, I could have swore we parked here. And he was like, yeah, we parked here. And there was this guy that was standing out. I think the place is called Pit Stop Liquor. This guy came out, he asked if we needed help, and I was like, yeah, I could have swore I parked here. I can't find my car. And he asked me, what it was. I told him it was 2004 Ford Mustang. He's like, oh yeah, we towed that out of here about 10-15 minutes ago. And I was like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, we just towed it out of here. We saw you guys sneaking into the racetrack. You guys parked here illegally. And I was like, what? Like, I was so confused. Like, in the heat of the moment, I was just like, downpouring rain, like, where's my car? Like, and this guy just tells me, yeah, we just towed it out of here, like 10-15 minutes ago. So like, if we didn't go shopping, we would have been back no problem. But I got to that point, car was gone, and I was like, now what do we do? So I asked the guy, he was like, yeah, it's on the sign over there. So any NASCAR race I've been to up to that point and ever since, it's been free to park. I pull into the parking lot of the racetrack, there's always free parking. So I didn't think anything of it, when I pulled in there, you could literally see the front gate, the front entrance of the speedway, like right there. So I automatically assumed everything was gravel, by the way. Everything was gravel parking on Indianapolis, and that area was gravel parking. Well, I guess like I parked around like the side of the building, like on that property, so that's why they towed it out. I didn't know that. The way the guy made it seem like, oh, we saw you on the security camera sneaking in, we had our tickets. Like, I would have paid for parking if I knew I had to pay for parking. And he was like trying to explain to us how there was a guy in a vest that was like taking money for parking. And we didn't see, there was nobody in there. There was nobody flagging anybody in. I literally saw a couple of cars in front of me pull in, so I pulled in. There was no signs, nobody taking money like the guy said there was. It was like all set up. And then all of a sudden we don't have a car. So we couldn't Uber or taxi or anything like that, because I don't know if you guys... Even though Indianapolis hasn't necessarily sold a lot of tickets versus what the capacity is for the Brickyard 400, they have, I think that day they still sold 55,000, 60,000 tickets. So there's 55,000, 60,000 people trying to leave at a NASCAR track. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a race. Again, traffic getting out of a NASCAR race is pretty difficult. So we were going to be standing there in the rain for God knows how long, waiting for a ride to, pick my car up. So I asked, who took the, who towed the car out, and he's like, oh, it's on the sign around back. So we had to walk around the back of the store to look at the sign of the place. And then I had to call them to make sure they had my car and make sure that was the right place that had my car, because the guy was being a complete jerk about it. And yeah, also he was like, yeah, the only reason that we knew you parked there, without paying is because you parked in my spot. And I was like, oh, what the hell? The guy couldn't have been more of a jerk about it. There's just a couple. You're talking at the time, I think he's a couple years younger than me. I think I was 18 at the time. We're basically kids. We were just taking a mini road trip, one day thing. We wanted to go to a NASCAR race, different track, bigger race, as far as nostalgia reasons go, the Brickyard 400, and it was going to be a fun time. And the rain comes, my car gets towed. We ended up having to walk 1.5 miles in Indianapolis, to walk to this, in downpouring rain, to walk to this, not dealership, but towing, place to get my car. And we get there, and because the car's in my dad's name, I had to call my dad, and he was sleeping, and I called my mom. I was like, oh, wake him up. I had to tell him the situation, you know, what's going on. And then they had to get approval from them that I could get the car, but I had to wait till I get there and literally handed the phone to the lady. Like, it was just a long, it was a long day. It was a eye-opening experience, to say the least. Oh man, it was not fun. And then we got back to the hotel. So we get the car back. We drive to the hotel. And the people at the hotel tried saying that we didn't book the room. Now, by the way, it was $150 to get the car out too. So we're out $150. We went with our souvenir shopping. We don't have a lot of cash on us. We just went to Walmart in between going there so we could stock up on food for the night, because we didn't have any food. You know, we were expecting it to be a one-day trip. So we stocked up on food. We didn't have a lot of money. They tried saying that we didn't have the room booked, and we didn't have enough money to book another room. And we're like, hey, you know, we booked the room online a couple hours before we got here. And they were like, no, you know, there was no, like, the lady at the desk tried telling us that, you know, we didn't have a room booked. And we're like, now what? You know, it's like we could have swore. We went back out to the car. We were thinking a game plan, you know. We were like, okay, what are we going to do here? Because this is not working out at all. And we had to save money for gas money to get back. So that was, you know, our main reason why we were penny pinching at that point. And it was like, you know, what are we going to do? So we go back in again, and he had his receipt on his phone that he had paid for it. And he tried talking to the lady, or that he had booked the room on his phone. He's like, hey, you know, we have proof of it. Here's our receipt. And then she, like, looks it up again. She's like, oh, no, now I see it. Like, I was like, what? like, she was like, yeah, I just had to refresh the page. And I was like, what? This is just like I mean, what a shit show at this point. You know, so we get a room. We didn't really have much luggage. We had wet clothes, and we had to, like, lay them out and dry them out, because we had to wear those same clothes the next day for the race. Oh my goodness, it was terrible. It was so terrible. Then yeah, it was crazy experience. So then, you know, Monday came around. Good news is we got to see the race. It was arguably one of the best Brickyard 400s ever, so that was cool. I got to see that. It was ran on a Monday. It was the first Monday race at the time I had ever seen. I got to see the Xfinity Series race earlier that day. It was the first Xfinity race I ever saw up to that point, because they ended up running a doubleheader that day, so that was kind of cool to see two races in one day. I think 10 a.m. was the Xfinity start time, and then the Cup race was at 2 in the afternoon. So I got back later that night about 9-10 o'clock after the race was over. Had a fun time at the race. So then the next morning when I went to go to work, I realized I'm trying to think what tire it was. I think it was the left rear. I think it was the left rear tire. My left rear tire was flat. It was down to the rim. I was like, what the heck? Like, we must have nursed it home somehow or something, some way, on a flat left rear. Come to find there was just a nail in it, you know, easy patch, you know, easy fix. But like I get out, and mind you, at the time I worked my 4 a.m. to 1 shift, so it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. We just had a long couple of days. I'm tired. I look down, my left rear tire's flat, and I got to be at work in like a half hour. So I nursed it to work, and then I went to Walmart across the street. They patched it up for me, and it was. And I was wondering like how I could have gotten a nail in it. My guess is when we went to the tow place to pick the car up the day before, that there was like a lot of like junk cars back there. I'm sure they probably ran it over a nail, or I ran it over a nail on the way out of there or something, back in like that junkyard area on the way out of there, and then come to find that, you know, less than or just over 24 hours later, you know, my tire's flat. So from a nail, so I had to, you know, get that quick fix with the patch repair. That cost me a little bit of money. That wasn't expensive, and by that time I think I was close to payday. And so ever since then I was well prepared before that point. We were well prepared. It just like a bunch of stuff, one thing after another, just kept piling on us that Sunday. It turned out to be a bad experience that day. That was probably one of the worst days of my life, to be completely honest. It's such a scary moment to be like 4 hours out of state away from home and your car's missing, of all things. You know, like, what do I do? What do I do? You know, like, oh my goodness, it's one of those stories now looking back on it. It was 2 years ago, and I'm like, it's a story I love to tell, you know, and, you know, I wish that it won't happen again. And it's made me so paranoid, like, not even NASCAR tracks, but like I said, I go to Detroit games a lot. I still to this day am so paranoid that when I walk out of the track or walk out of the sporting facility, stadium, whatever, you know, whatever it might be, and I'm so paranoid that I'm like, is my car there? I hope my car's there. I hope my car's there. I can be parked in a gated, like, parking garage or something like that, and I'll just be scared that my car's missing when I go back out there ever since that day. So I'm like so paranoid that I'm like, I got to remember where I parked, you know, like, I don't think about it so much like during the course of the event, but it's like as I'm walking out, I'm like, I really hope my car's there. Like, ever since then, man, it's crazy. It is really crazy, but that's just how I think now. But yeah, it was, yeah, ever since then, I've really started to save money. I never really spent my money on a lot of things, but at that time, with the job I worked, and I didn't have like a lot of extra money, you know, for traveling like I do now and like I did last year with the, especially with this new job that pays a little more. I have more off time. I'm not spending my money elsewhere outside of when I'm going to travel, so I save a lot of money. But yeah, that's my experience at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Outside of the actual race itself, I could dive into that another day, but I just wanted to get that out of the way, get that story out of the way while we're running the Brickyard 400 tonight, because that was about 2 years ago, and that was my experience at the Brickyard 400. Sorry if anybody new has joined the stream during the course of that. I haven't really looked at the stream chat since. Thanks for that comment, Get Keegan 100. Yeah, subscribe. Thanks, guys. But I wish I had the channel at that time so I could have vlogged that trip, because that vlog would have been legendary. It would have been one of the best NASCAR race day, best/worst NASCAR race day vlogs ever. But the YouTube channel at that time wasn't even a thought, you know. Just crazy. It's crazy. I hope that never happens again. I've never had any sort of, like, ever since then, all my trips have gone perfectly. So smooth. Well, except for Charlotte Roval, the only thing that was bad about that is I had another flat tire experience, but that was, I was going to leave for the Charlotte Roval last year after work. I was going to start driving down, got off at 1 o'clock again, working the 4 a.m. to 1 shift at the time. I was working at Lowe's, and I had a flat left front, ran over something in the parking lot, I guess, I don't know, and there was another nail in it, so I had to get that patched before I left, and that was the only issue I've ever had traveling since. But again, it was just a quick patch job, nothing major. It just put me 2 hours behind schedule. That's all. I couldn't actually leave till 3 when I was supposed to be out at 1. But I was leaving 2 days before the race, so I wasn't worried about it. Caution's out for the first time here today, lap 61. Kyle Busch will get the free pass under this first yellow. So a little story time for the Brickyard 400 tonight to go along with the realistic broadcast. So those of you guys in the chat here today, yeah, that was pretty fun telling the story to you guys here. And so that is story time. SN1 PEZFN, welcome to the stream. Green flag back in the air. So Jimmy Johnson stays out to keep the track position with the fuel mileage game in play. Very interesting here. Everybody behind him hits pit road. Didn't want to give anybody a possible wave around either, so trying to trap everybody at this point. Pretty good restart through turns 1 and 2 that time for Johnson, holding the clean air track position again. Big factor here. Just the first caution of the race, again, 61 laps in. We were about a run and a half into this one. Oh, here comes Harvick looking to the inside. Again, we don't necessarily have the short run car. Couldn't make the pass there. Comes Truex on his outside now. That is a battle for third and a battle to maybe even get back on the lead lap. Johnson washes up the track slightly. Harvick almost got there. And here comes Truex charging on the outside through turn 2. Johnson, oh, tries to clear the 19. A little contact off of turn number 2. Johnson trying to hold clear, did not want that 19 to get on his right rear corner panel and suck the air off of it and hold him back. Definitely a closer call there, but now they're side drafting each other and Johnson slightly getting away again. Again, here comes Harvick. Big blocks down the front straightaway. Kyle Busch got the free pass under the last caution. He's the first driver one lap down, so that's why he's so close all of a sudden. And here comes Truex. On the top, Johnson's been able to drive turn 2 pretty deep. He did that time, trying to side draft the 19, but could not do it. And here comes Harvick now to the inside, and as soon as Johnson loses the clean air, man, he's in the draft. The Truex on the outside into 3. Got to be careful. Being on the outside on the short runs, we don't have the car for that. Chase Elliott has driven his way to the top 10. Remember, from the rear of the field. In this one, he is up to 6th place all of a sudden. Big run for Johnson down the front straightaway. 3 wide up the middle. Got to clear both Hamlin and Elliott before we get into turn 1. Harvick working on Truex. Johnson gets tight into turn 1. That's going to hold Hamlin up behind and Elliott back to the bottom again. And that'll move Chase into the top 5. Stayed out of the pits for, I guess the track position wouldn't have meant much, but we could still make it on 2 more stops in the race, so that's why I stayed out of the pits there. I'd like to stay on this pit strategy as much as I can. Car gets faster and faster over the course of the run. I mean, you guys can see, I mean, even these guys on fresh tires, we're keeping up with them. A very fast race here today. Big run into turn 2 on Harvick. Can't clear him. Able to hold on. Johnson to the inside of the 4 of Harvick again. Still can't get around him. Again, it goes to show how hard it is to pass the car in the clean air. Everybody's in lap traffic, that's one thing. Leader doesn't have as much clean air. Big side draft coming by Johnson on Harvick this time. All the way to the inside, down the front straightaway. Going to pull up and going to clear the 4 of Harvick before we get into turn 1. Textbook pass there by Johnson. Harvick looking high through turn 1. Couldn't get it. He about stuffed it in the wall. And here comes Truex once again. Right to the back bumper of the 4 of Harvick. Yeah, this is a manual transmission. Always use manual. It's a little faster getting up through the gears when you can do it manual versus automatic. It really helps on road courses too. Obviously, you got to know what gears to shift through as well on road courses, but I've kind of mastered that over time. That really doesn't change much from game to game, no matter if it's NASCAR Heat or an older NASCAR game. Usually, it kind of stays the same. Don't forget with the next gen cars, granted now they're pushed back coming out in 2022 instead of 2021, but remember they're supposed to have 5 gears instead of 4. That doesn't get talked about as much with the next gen cars, but for road course it's going to be 5 gears instead of 4, so that'll be interesting. That'll be a new scenario to have to get used to that on the road courses with these video games. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Man, it's already 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Well, I mean, the stream started like just after 9, but we qualified for a little bit. Didn't actually get the race underway right away, but it is going to be tough to beat this 48 car today, folks. Let me tell you, Jimmy Johnson has been completely on a rail since the start. Playing the fuel mileage game perfectly so far, and the caution definitely helped in Johnson's favor there. Even though it got Kyle Busch back on the lead lap, giving Kyle a little bit better hopes, I'd say. Harvick now the first driver, 1 lap down. He seems to be a little faster than Truex. I think Harvick's fine to hold on to that free pass position. He's driven away from the 19 car a little bit once again. Yep. Yeah, next gen coming out 2022 instead of 2021. Postponed it. Thanks, COVID. At least on the bright side, it gives us fans 1 extra year of 750 horsepower on the short tracks and road courses. That's the whole reason they were trying to work on that next gen car, was simply so they could make a car that's usable at every track instead of having to change the package from track to track like they do now. Mr. Pizza, welcome to the stream. .86 to go, almost halfway home. Johnson's going to have to pit here in less than 10 laps. Right at the edge of that pit window. Rest of the field did pit under that last yellow, but again, Johnson holding on to the track position, staying out. A little different pit strategy. Trying to make it on a 3-stop race. Versus it looks like the rest of the field is going to try to make it on a 4-stop race now. So that is the advantage Jimmy's got if he can make it happen. He's got to make it to lap 80 for the next pit stop, and that caution definitely helped us in that aspect. Should be able to get to that point, which is good because we were tracking about a lap short on 3 stops to the end of the race from the time that we had pit on that opening stop during that green flag stop earlier in the race before the first yellow. Yeah, my Tigers actually won a game today with the baseball coming back. They stunk it up yesterday on opening day, but they came back with a dub today, so I'm happy. I placed a bet on them to win the division this year because their odds were 150 to 1. so let's just say if they somehow miraculously win the division this year, because I put that bet back in like March, way before the season started, because it was like right when the whole COVID thing was going on. They were talking about postponing the start of the season. I was like, well, if they're going to play a shortened season, they have a better chance at winning the division. So 150 to 1 to win the Central Division in the American League. So I took up on that. So let's just say I win a decent amount of cash if they win the division this year. So every game matters more now that it's only 60 games instead of 162. So 1-1 start. All right with that. That would be insane. That would be insane if they could pull it off. What a smart move that would have ended up playing out to be. Shane Pankey, welcome to the stream. A handful of laps away. Johnson holding this clean air too by staying out of the pits. And by the time Jimmy comes onto pit road, he's barely going to be into lap traffic, maybe for about a lap or two, and that's about it. Jimmy's going to stay out the next couple times by. And caution is out again. And that just puts everybody back on the same pit strategy again. So that does not work for Jimmy Johnson. He needed this to stay green and play out. At least for a little bit. Ty Dillon will bring out the caution with a crash in turn 2. Kevin Harvick will get the free pass in third. So Johnson, who has led the most laps up to this point today, that is a very tough thing to have happen there, and that is great for Kyle Busch and Harvick on the lead lap. This is the second caution of the day today, by the way. And we will hit the cross flags mark. We will be halfway home before we go green. So here we go, green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch back into it on the outside of the front row. 79 laps to go here in the Brickyard 400. Johnson with another great restart though, controlling the pace there, getting in front of the 18. Truex back and forth now in the free pass spot, trying to get back on the lead lap perhaps. Chase Elliott 2 laps down in 5th. Elliott's probably going to need a little more help. But Truex staying to the inside of that 18 car, at least trying to get the side draft, but can't quite stay there. He's going to have to let the 18 of Busch go into turn number 3. Now that the 18 car is clear of the 19, how much of a run can Kyle Busch get on Johnson? He's definitely closing in off of turn 4. Busch makes a move to the bottom. Here he comes, a little bit of a block there by Jimmy. Busch still looking to the inside. He might try driving it in deep into 1, but Johnson drove it in deep as well to keep the 18 from getting to his inside. Now on the short chute. Busch took a swing, couldn't get it. Trying to get the hammer down the back straightaway. Johnson has it, blocking to the bottom of the track. Busch back to the top, but here comes Truex. Back alongside the outside now on the 18 of Kyle Busch, down the back straightaway into turn 3. Kyle's going to have the advantage on the bottom as they side draft one another. Kyle loses a little bit of ground again to Johnson. Fastest lap of the race that time by for Johnson, 51.477. Jimmy gets a little tight through turn 1 again there. Busch gains a little bit of time, but again, Kyle's been close to being able to make the passes. Can't quite get the job done. Can he off of turn 2? I think he's just a little too far back. He's got the run though. If he could stay in the draft to this 48 car, might be an opportunity. I don't think he's looking to make the pass into 3 here. I think he's looking to set us up through 3 and 4 and maybe try to get us into turn 1. Caution is out again. So for the 3rd time today, and for the 3rd time in the last 17 laps, we have another caution. Truex will get the free pass in fourth, get back on the lead lap. He's going to hit pit road now. Harvick is on pit road also. So it looks like we're going to go green with about 73 laps left this time. So Harvick trying to hit pit road, maybe top it off on fuel, changing 4 fresh tires. We're going to stay out of the pits again, keeping the track position. It's working out for us so far. It's going to help us make it. We should only have 1 pit stop left in the race today for everybody, and that was regardless if Harvick pitted or not there. And really only 4 laps of fresh tires isn't going to make much of a difference for Harvick. So wasn't too worried about it. Johnson nails the restart again. Busch quickly jumping down to the inside to block Harvick through turn 1. Ooh, a little tight, overdrove turn 3, Johnson up the hill. Harvick going for second place still on Kyle Busch. I don't think Busch is going to be able to keep up with the 48. The more laps we run, the less of a chance Busch has of doing it. And he's trying to hold off Harvick right now, and as they battle for second, Johnson pulls away to the line. Jimmy's definitely got the straightaway speed in the car again, that is for sure. See, you guys wanted me to pit there under that caution, but by the way, that damage on the front nose, there is no damage. It was under that second caution of the race when Ty Dillon went for a spin. He hit us under the caution, so it looks like there's damage there, but there's no damage. Ooh, Johnson about overdrove turn 3. Harvick is up to second. He just passed Kyle Busch off of turn 2. He might try to take a swing here at Johnson if he can get a shot. Can alternate through the different camera angles now at the start-finish line this time. For the first time today again. That damage is not actually there, so don't worry about it. Let's take up a little bit of visibility though, but it is non-existent. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a more cleaner race through the first half of this one for Johnson. We have absolutely not only dominated in laps led, but just flat out running fast consistently. Hitting our marks consistently. And even when we slip up, we're able to keep it off the wall. Something we couldn't do in qualifying when we were trying to put together good lap times. Harvick is still stalking us. He's within a couple car lengths. I don't know if he's going to actually be able to get there or not. 69 to go. Again, 4 laps with fresh tires is not going to make much of a difference. It's definitely helped him get to second, but that is not going to really help him get around the car with the clean air, I don't think, unless Johnson just flat out misses the corner. But by Harvick being that close, it does put pressure on Johnson to hit his marks lap after lap. Black Ace, welcome to the next race of this custom schedule season. We go to New Hampshire tomorrow. More Cup Series action. Chase for 8 with Jimmy Johnson. I have no start time on that stream for tomorrow. Reason being is because I don't know what time I'll be back from the golf course, because I likely setting out for the morning. So it'll likely be an afternoon stream tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what time there, Diamond Jeff. I only make set times if I know 100% that I can stream at that time. I don't know what exact time I'm going to be able to stream tomorrow. It can be one of those things where I could be available to stream at 1 o'clock tomorrow morning, or like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Just depends on what time I get back from the course. Again, I was expecting to be back a lot earlier today than what I actually was. And I ended up on the course for like almost 4.5 hours by myself trying to play 18 because I was getting held up by groups ahead of me. So I just have to wait and see. I'm going to a different course tomorrow too, so I don't know how busy they're going to be. We've had 3 cautions in the Brickyard 400 today. Remember, we went 61 laps before the first yellow, and we've had 3 all before the halfway mark, right at lap 80 in this one. So 17 lap stretch where we had 3 straight cautions, getting 4 drivers back in the lead lap. But Jimmy Johnson has still led every lap in this race since lap 8. Complete and utter dominance up to this point by the 48 team. Made 2 pit stops, 1 under green, 1 under yellow. We should be able to make it on 1 more stop. Harvick, Truex, the other drivers on the lead lap, on a little bit different strategy. They can make it about 4 laps longer on fuel. So if we do end up having an overtime or 2, that's where that could come into play. Versus Johnson and Kyle Busch being on a little bit different of a strategy. So we'll just have to wait and see exactly how that might work out. Jackson Thomas, welcome to the stream. $65 laps to go, almost 100 laps into the Brickyard 400 today. Again, second crown jewel race of the season. The first one, of course, being the opening race of the year, the Daytona 500. Jimmy Johnson got the win that day. Can we get him to victory lane at a place he has gone to victory lane many times in his career here at Indianapolis? Chase Elliott, 2 laps down, but he's in the free pass spot to get at least 1 of those laps back if we are to get another caution. He's currently in 5th. About as good of a performance as Elliott has had really in a while here on this season. He needs it if he's going to want to point his way in, if he can't get that win. We do have a few road course races before the playoffs. He had 2 at Watkins Glen and 1 at the Charlotte Roval before the postseason. That can definitely play into Elliott's wheelhouse. He has won at both of those tracks before, so... Johnson's driven now to about a 5-second lead now on Harvick. Again, it takes about 5 laps to really get going and slowly start to pull away. But we're definitely under pressure for those first 5 laps. If we can get a late race restart, that's really the best chance anybody's got of beating us today. We're just having a crazy restart in general. Never know what could happen there. Again, Johnson kind of needed that last run to play out to get through the cycling of pit stops, but I guess it's kind of okay because we ended up not losing the lead anyway, and at least Kyle Busch is still on the same strategy that Johnson's on right now. But for Harvick, Truex on a little different strategy after topping off on field, but again, all of us should be able to make it, because by pitting under that second caution of the race that came out on lap number 78, that really put us in a hole, because we were tracking about 3 laps to the good on fuel. That pretty much dropped us to now we're only about 1 lap to the good on fuel. But then we got that other caution after that, helped us save about another 3 or 4 laps. So again, we should be 4 or 5 to the good now. I don't think we're going to run into an issue unless we end up going to overtime or a couple overtimes, or if another caution comes out right around the pit window with about 40 to go. It's really going to put us in a tough little box in a situation there of whether or not we can make it. "33 people watching." Where do you see that at? Something wrong with the chat? Now down to 17. Was it? Did it show 33 people were watching? I think that might have been a glitch, because I didn't see it up on the upper right hand corner here that keeps alerting me of the comments and everything and the new viewers. I don't think that's I think it glitched out on us there. I'm not going to count that as the record. The record is 29, set back on the Daytona 500 when we started this Cup Series Chase for 8 season. But all throughout the course of it though, and not only this season, but even the truck in that season opener for the Xfinity Series, we have seen a lot of viewership on the channel since the start of this game and the start of this these seasons, these custom schedule seasons. So thanks everybody for giving me the support as usual. Seeing the regular faces in the chat consistently, greatly appreciate it. The road to 1,000 subscribers. I think that's what we're shooting for here. Oh boy, Johnson slid up the hill in turn 2 there. Got in line behind the 43 and lost the front nose of the car. Just less than 60 laps to go. Car definitely doesn't handle as well in traffic. Oh man, loose off of turn 3 there. Reddick to the outside of us, couldn't really hit our marks as perfectly as we wanted to. Now we're all over the back of Chad Fincham. He tried to block us. Now we're 3 wide with Chastain down the front straightaway, and luckily we got out of that. About as good as we could have. Harvick driving away from Kyle Busch. He's about 6 seconds ahead of him. About 10.5 seconds off the lead though. Said about 33 people in the... Yeah, I didn't see it on the upper right hand corner of the screen, so I'm not going to count it. Usually I see that ticker consistently. I didn't see it up there. I'm guessing it probably just showed it, it says the top chat on the actual YouTube channel. Johnson shoots the gap into 1 on Corey LaJoie. Yeah, we're still showing about 3 to 4 laps to the good, so we have burned an extra lap of fuel here, but we're still pacing good to make it on 1 more stop. We're going to try to run this out as long as we can just to be safe. Jelly, welcome to the stream. Ooh, contact. John Hunter Nemechek. Or Jellyfishy, sorry. Jellyfishy, welcome to the stream. I said Jelly for whatever reason. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for loving the streams. Realistic broadcast with these NASCAR Heat 5. I don't know anybody else like it. I don't know anybody else in the NASCAR YouTube community that does full race live streams with a live realistic broadcast. So I thought that would bring uniqueness. I wanted to do the realistic broadcast, but I also wanted to do something unique. Look at the Hendrick cars working together. That was a huge bump draft down the back straightaway. Look at how much Byron was able to pull Almirola. Jimmy kind of helping him out there. Bump draft didn't used very well here at Indy down the two longer straightaways of the track. Definitely beneficial. Yeah, I don't think 33 people were actually watching. I think it was a glitch. I didn't actually see it. A couple of you guys saw it, but I didn't get to see it. Got a bump draft there. Jones now down the back straightaway. Look at the head of steam Jones has now. I mean, look at how fast these two cars are when you can link them together. That might be the way to go down these straightaways now, is finding a car to bump draft rather than just moving around them, especially if it's a teammate, kind of help them out a little bit. Ooh, 3 wide off the exit of 4. Johnson gets around him. Might save fuel that way a little bit too. 54 laps left. Brickyard 400 here for Jimmy Johnson. Chase Bray looking for a 10th win of the season. Remember, no stages, so those are the only playoff points that you can go for is by wins. And it's 5 playoff points per win. So if we get our 10th win of the season, do the math there, we'll be at 50 playoff points already. Halfway through the regular season. We got a lot of tougher tracks though in the second half of the season than what we had in the first half. A lot of longer races too, so that could play into effect. And obviously, the playoffs are even more stacked than what the second half of the regular season looks like. I know we go to Watkins Glen twice. We got Charlotte Roval, second half of the regular season. Daytona, Talladega another time. So those are going to be some tracks we're going to have to survive. New Hampshire, I'm not sure how that's going to work out tomorrow. That, you never know. That could be a tough race to try and survive too, being kind of a tighter, shorter track, 1 mile in length. So we'll just have to see how it's going to work out. Ooh, boy, Johnson got loose through 4, trying to get down and get underneath Bowman and Blaney in turn 4. Just over a 21-second lead now. Again, it is climbing. If we don't win this race today and get Jimmy Johnson a win for the final time in the Brickyard 400, it's going to be off of pure luck, I would have to think. I think we've got enough fuel to make it on one stop. Even if we went green to the end of the race, I think we can make it. We should be able to make it on one stop. Then you're just pretty much looking at how anybody else can catch us. Again, it would take a late race caution, but even then, we've seen how strong our car is on the short run, and since taking the lead and having the track position, you just can't pass the leader. I mean, look at it at the very beginning of the race. Kyle Busch led the first 8 laps. We couldn't get around him. It took us a while, but once we got around him, we were able to pull away. Or at least stay in front of him and then pull away a couple laps later. Kind of a similar situation. Even on these restarts, you just haven't really been able to see anybody get around Jimmy. Here's Martin Truex Jr. He got the free pass under the last caution. That's why he's 20 seconds behind the third place car of Kyle Busch. Truex is going to go a lap down the front straightaway, and that stinks for Elliott. Because if we get a caution, Truex will get the free pass in fourth and not Chase Elliott back in fifth. So Chase is looking like he's really got zero chance to get back on the lead lap today. And it's like that usually. You fall 2 laps down in a race, it is very tough to get both laps back just to even get back on the lead lap, let alone have a shot to win it. I really do think he's got one of the faster cars in the field, but remember, coming from the back, started 38, started at the rear of the field. I think he crashed in qualifying. I think that was why he had to start at the rear. And caution is out again. And this changes everything because now we are outside the pit window and everybody else seems to be pitting right now. Fourth caution of the day with 50 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Looks like there's a car up in smoke into turn 1. It brings out the caution. Johnson's got a pit, you would think, with the rest of the field. I think that's going to be the safest way to go. That is a very unfortunate circumstance for the 48 team. Jimmy Johnson. And this puts everybody outside the pit window. Man, do I have a Discord? Yes, technically, but I don't use it. Well, here we go. Green flag back in the air. Jimmy Johnson again leads the field to the green, winning the race off of pit road. He's had a fast crew tonight too. It has been on pit road and on the actual racetrack where he has been good. Truex got the free pass. Just imagine if that caution came out just a lap and a half sooner, Truex would have gotten to restart at the front of the field. Everybody else in Harvick restarted in third, actually got ahead of Kyle Busch there. And Harvick's got the run down the back straightaway. Looking lower, getting blocked by Johnson there slightly into turn 3. Johnson trying to hold on to the lead again. Kyle Busch trying to clear the 11 of Hamlin so he can try and make a run on Harvick himself. Oh, a little bobble through turn 4. Harvick can't capitalize though. He's all over the back bumper of Johnson. He looks to the inside, but here comes Kyle Busch on the outside. Busch has a huge head of steam in the draft to Johnson. And into turn number 1. Oh, Jimmy gets tight, and here goes Harvick. Jimmy got tight through turn 1, misses the corner. Harvick is there, and Kevin Harvick is going to take the lead off of turn 2. Kyle Busch now to the bottom. Johnson loses the track position. And that is not what he needed here on this later race restart, trying to side draft the 18 of Busch down the backstretch. Johnson's got to let him go and just duck underneath and behind, and here comes Logano now. Oh, and he tags the 48 of Johnson. Johnson goes up the hill. Logano gets by. Hamlin, Elliott. One little mistake, just slightly overdriving turn 1 enough that Harvick was able to get to the bottom. Clear Johnson into 2, and now Kyle Busch is going for the lead on Harvick into turn 2 himself on this lap. They start side drafting one another. That could bring this field back into it. Johnson's already lost a couple, or I should say a little bit more track position, trying to side draft the 1 of Kurt. Sends it into 3, clears the 1. Oh man, Busch about turned Johnson in the short chute there on that left rear corner panel. And here he goes to the outside now, getting a huge side draft. And there he goes, Kurt Busch again. Keselowski. It looked like he was going to try to bump draft him. Now he will. And a little side draft along with it. It's going to give Johnson the advantage. Oh man, Busch about went around. He got tight and then he got loose trying to correct it there as Keselowski got to his inside. Keselowski kind of ran him up the hill himself, as it looks like the 2 underneath him even got a little tight himself. Johnson working the draft down these long straightaways. Best position to pass cars. In line now behind Logano. Harvick trying to cross over Kyle Busch for the lead. Can he get under him? Off of turn 4, he's looking at it. Little side draft there for Jimmy on Logano, down to the inside. Oh, couldn't quite clear the 22 into 1. Now he clears him off the exit of turn 1. Harvick still to the inside of Busch. They keep battling for the lead. It might bring Johnson back into it. They're side by side, off of 2 again. Down the back straightaway between the 4 and the 18. Rectangle racing, yeah, that's a good one there, Andrew. Harvick can't complete the pass on the 18 of Busch that time through 3. Can he through 4? He does. Harvick to the lead, trying to win 3 straight Brickyard 400s. 41 to go. We're right around the pit window. Everybody's likely about 5 to 6 laps short. That is not enough to save on this very long 2.5 mile track. That is roughly 12.5 miles to save, and that is just too much. Actually, I did my math wrong on that. That's about 15 miles to save for 6 laps short. That is way too much to save. Busch trying to go back on the 4 of Harvick again into turn 3. Johnson's got to run on the outside. There's not enough grip up there yet. Car's not willing to run up there. Harvick blocking off the 18 of Busch again. Oh, Johnson barely kept it off the wall. Look at the run Busch has down the front straightaway on Harvick again. It is going to be tough to pass that 4 car. The 18 is working on him. We got a 3-car battle for the lead with about 40 to go in the Brickyard 400. Johnson again looking to the outside. Big run. Up the middle. Here comes Johnson. What a move. Up a turn 2. Up the middle. Making a daring 3-wide pass on Harvick and Kyle Busch. What a move by the 48 of Johnson. What a pass. And Kyle Busch now into second, clearing Harvick. That was the opportunity. Tough to pass the leaders. I don't think that we've ever seen that in history of Indianapolis. A 3-wide pass up the middle for the lead. But we just saw it here in this one. And now Johnson with the clean air again, trying to drive away from the 18 and the 4. They're just side drafting each other so much, battling. Busch got to the inside of Harvick off of 2. Side drafted him just enough. They slowed each other's momentum down. Johns with the full head of steam took a little higher route through turn 2. I was going to set him up to try and take it 3 wide to the bottom, but the hole opened up in the middle. So they tried to get away from each other and stop side drafting one another, and their momentum was already lost. Johnson beat him back to the gas and pulled off the pass. Impressive to say the least. But will that be the final restart of the day? We've had only 4 cautions this entire way, and you wonder how the pit stops might even shake up as well. We're going to have to run this out as long as we can before either a caution comes out, we pit then, or I mean, we could split this in half, but I really don't want to. We started off the race with a long green flag run, but cautions have been kind of breeding other cautions. We haven't had longer than a 20-lap green flag run since. I don't want to take that risk pitting and being stuck on older tires or losing the track position again. Luckily enough, we were able to get it back. That 3 wide pass. Currently lap 125 at the line. 36 laps to go in the Brickyard 400 this time by. Once again, quick reminder, our next full race live stream is tomorrow for the Cup Series at New Hampshire. Not going to be able to give you guys a start time for it. So I'm not quite sure of a start time, but it will likely be in the afternoon. But subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you guys don't miss another upload. You guys can make sure you can join. Hook in turn 4 right now. That's probably Johnson's best corner when he can run full throttle, and you definitely were able to see it right there. Yeah, sorry if there's a lag on my behalf. Oh man, about clipped that wall off of turn 2 also. Yep, Diamond Jeff, I know you're subbed. See you quite frequently in the chat, so thanks. Harvick is right behind Kyle Busch. I mean, he hasn't gone anywhere. It's just, again, so hard to pass between these leaders, and Harvick is trying to desperately make a move around that 18 car. And they're slowing each other off. I think they're racing so hard with each other, they're losing even more ground to Johnson, but I think the battle for now is just for second place at this point. Unless we get another caution, which is why they want to battle as hard as they can to get themselves a position to maybe restart in second. Obviously, we still have a pit stop left, so if we did get a yellow, everybody would probably pit under the caution. Have to imagine nobody can make it to the end. You might see somebody try to stay out, but I still think they're going to be about a lap or two short. So we get another caution beyond that point, but I think that would be a little too far-fetched for a risk. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles one final time here in today's race, with just 32 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Been pretty strung out at times, but these restarts have definitely been crazy in the second half of this race. For about the first 5 to 10 laps before it starts to get strung out again, but we haven't had longer than a 20-lap green flag run since the first caution of the race. We've had 4 total. Trying to work the outside. Very thick lap traffic going on right now. Again, that damage on the front nose is non-existent. They didn't repair it under the last yellow. So there's nothing to repair. Oh man, look at that drive up the middle. Got into Quint Half a little bit. Didn't make it look as clean as what we did when we made the 3-wide pass up the middle for the lead. On a 10-second lead now. back on Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. We had our Kansas Cup race. Kyle Busch dominated. He led well over 100 laps. He led the most laps of the race. He was the guy to beat. We were in 6th place. At the time, about 4 to 5 seconds off the lead, and we had 4 laps to go. We were not going to catch him. We were lucky if we were going to gain a couple more spots at the end of the race. But a caution had come out, forced overtime, the first and only overtime finish we've had this season. And we had a shot. Had the restart of a lifetime. Went up the middle for 4th, and then for 2nd. And then off of turn 4, side by side with Busch, beat him back to the line, coming to the white flag, cleared him into turn 1, pulled away on the final lap. Heck of a restart from the 6th position there in overtime. That was the one chance we had. Kyle Busch has not had a race-winning car since, but today he has been close. He's been in 2nd place virtually all day, 2nd or 3rd all race long. Led laps at the beginning after qualifying on the pole. Johnson's had the fastest car today. If we get a late race caution, will be Kyle Busch's turn. He's nailed a couple restarts already today. Wouldn't be necessarily surprised if he ended up nailing another. Busch has not won yet this season. He's well inside the top 10 of the point standings. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's like 4th or 5th in the point standings, but still, no wins. He definitely wants playoff points if he wants a shot for the championship come season end at Darlington in the Southern 500. Yeah, my phone just died, by the way, so I was able to put it on the charger last time we were on the back straightaway. Luckily enough, we have long straightaways at Indy. I was able to do it without pausing it or wrecking it. So let that charge up here for a few minutes and try to turn it back on and get the chat back on for the end of this race. Johnson looking to kiss the bricks once again. The famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's always had an interest in IndyCar. Of course, he's supposed to have a test session coming up in an IndyCar soon. Likelihood of him running the Indy 500 is very slim, but he has been very interested at wanting to race road course races in IndyCar at some point in time, which has led to him testing. Of course, he tested Fernando Alonso's F1 car. I know it's not the same. It's still an open wheel, very fast open wheel car. Had that driver swap a couple of years ago, and although this is likely the last time Johnson will be at Indianapolis, unfortunately he missed this year in real life due to testing positive for COVID-19, but we're going to try to get him a win here in the closing laps here today in our chase for 8. Set the NASCAR Cup Series record for the most championships won by a single driver. Harvick and Kyle Busch have been going back and forth for second place over the last lap and a half. Just kind of looking up at the leaderboard glance, it looked like they changed back again. Busch able to get back around the 4 of Harvick. Of course, dealing with lap traffic now is probably making it a little easier for maybe somebody to pick off another driver, perhaps. Just 24 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. 25-second or 24.5-second lead really on Kyle Busch. Harvick again just a half-second behind him, and then another 11 seconds back to Truex in fourth, who had to get the free pass under the last caution. Everybody has to make another pit stop before the end of this race. The timing of the last caution came out with 50 to go. We went green with 46 laps left. At maximum, you can run about 40 laps, maybe 41 on fuel, but that would be pushing it. Ooh, man, 3 wide up the middle off of 4 there, much like we did for the lead earlier. Christopher Bell, Clinton Boyer right around us. Oh, man, just banged it off the wall off of turn 2. We kind of got to the outside of Reagan in a bad spot. Barely got into his right rear. Yeah, we're going to have to repair that when we hit pit road, that's for sure. Kind of made the car tight, perhaps, through 3 and 4. We'll see again in 1 and 2 and back around for another lap if that's actually beating the car up enough, but... ...20 laps to go next time by. And the Brickyard 400 just winding it out lap after lap. Just praying that there won't be another caution here in this race today. Just 31 to... or I should say a 31-second lead on Kyle Busch again. Busch and Harvick kind of going back and forth here. Oh, trouble, car in the wall, turn 4, caution is out. With 21 to go, caution is out again. And everybody on the lead lap is going to come to pit road. Man, just when you think it's over, and you got the win locked in the bag, something like that happens. Now we only need a half a can on fuel. Should be good enough. We'll go 1 can just to be safe. Got damage to repair. Oh boy. Truex is kept on the lead lap. Don't count him out of it yet either. Chase Elliott will get the free pass, but he'll be in 5th. Right before we go green, gonna pause it here for a quick second. Sorry for that, everybody. Get the chat back on for this because this could get wild. At least it was under caution when I did this. Suspense building in. Alright. Here we go. Green flag back in the air here at Indy. 17 laps to go to crown the winner of the Brickyard 400. Johnson nails the restart again. Busch quickly down in front of Harvick for second, but Harvick looking to make a move. On the inside of Kyle Busch into 2, can't do it. He's still side by side for 3rd place with Truex off the exit of the corner. Harvick trying to slide up, and he does clear Truex down the back straightaway. in the draft right behind Kyle Busch now. Johnson trying to hold on to the clean air. Can't make a mistake like he did on the last run. Everybody on 4 fresh Goodyears. Sit with the regular camera now for the rest of the race. Single file line for the top 4. Johnson runs wide off of 1. Man, really didn't want to get out of the gas there, and I didn't. I knew if I checked up, that was going to give Kyle Busch a chance to pounce, so we were able to stay on the gas, and he couldn't get a big enough of a run on us. He keeps looking to the inside there, trying to break the draft, but he's not going to be able to make a move into 3 here. He's going to have to get very aggressive. If he gets one shot at it, he's going to have to go. That might be the last shot he's got. He can't waste time. The longer the laps run, the more of a chance that Johnson's got at it. Had to check up off of 4. Big run by Busch. Ducks out of line. I think he waited just a hair too long, though. And here comes Harvick now, looking to the outside into turn 1 for 2nd place. Oh, man, Johnson didn't even make a mistake. Busch is there. Into turn 2. Oh, he wiggles. Kyle Busch got loose, but he still clears the 48 of Johnson. Harvick trying to side draft now off the 48. Big run by Jimmy. Gonna send it into turn 3 with a power move to the inside. Couldn't get around him. Johnson's loose, man. He is trying to drive this race car. Kyle Busch to the lead with just 14 to go in the Brickyard 400. Big run again by Johnson. Sends it into turn 1. Man, he keeps going for it. Can't get around him. Builds up so much momentum in the draft down the straightaways. Johnson gets loose off of 2. Man, he's letting it all hang out. He's got to keep Harvick behind him. Doesn't want to have to make for another car to pass here. Martin Truex Jr.'s fading back. I think he's got an issue. Truex is fading back off the pace. I believe he has a problem. And he will be a non-factor in the win in this one. His shots of winning the Brickyard 400 are over. Johnson gets off of turn 4 while he's gapping Harvick a little bit. He's got a run on Kyle Busch again. Into turn 1, side by side. He is there. Trying to clear the 18 and 1 swoop. Oh, can do it. Big side draft by Kyle Busch on the top. Again, so hard to pass that car in the clean air. Johnson sends it into 2. Just can't quite stay there, though. And here comes Harvick back into it again. Johnson to the inside into 3. Sends it. Clear. Busch with the crossover to the inside. Lap car. Truex might be in the way. Up and smoke off of turn 4. Kyle Busch can't quite complete the pass. Johnson gets a big side draft, and they're drag racing down the front straightaway. Harvick lurking in the picture at the line. I think Busch led that lap. Busch, oh, has the advantage. Johnson gets loose. Man, nobody wanted to give an inch there. And Harvick's all over the back of the 18 now. But Johnson, though, he holds it full throttle through turn 2, something he hasn't been able to do all day. He's going to have a big run down the back straightaway on Harvick. I mean, a huge run, and now he goes for Busch. Oh, but he can't even clear Harvick. Johnson just can't do it, and there's contact with Harvick off of 4. Johnson gives Harvick a shove down the front straightaway. Harvick's got a run on Busch. Oh, man, Johnson about missed. Oh, no, Harvick got loose. I think he got on the brakes quite a bit. He about ran into the back of Busch. Harvick looking to the inside of the 18. Here we go again. Much like earlier. Johnson up the middle for the lead. He did it once. Can he do it a second time? Are you kidding me? He does. 3 wide pass up the middle a second time for Johnson to get to the lead into 3. Oh, he gets loose. Johnson backs it into the wall, and it's all over. Oh my goodness, Johnson gets loose into 3, gets slammed by Busch, and hits the wall head on hard into turn 3. After making the 3 wide pass for the lead, the car just slipped out from under him with about 10 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Wow. And Johnson will not get to kiss the bricks for the final time here tonight. And that is the second DNF in the last 3 races for Jimmy. This one's gonna hurt. Man. Oh my goodness, I don't even know how that happened. I have no clue how that happened. I mean, he just got loose all of a sudden. What a pass down the backstretch, and we just completely lost it. I felt like I might have overdrove it just a slight bit, but I wasn't even on the curbing. It looked like I about had it saved. But then Kyle Busch was already side by side with Harvick still, and he had nowhere to go when I was loose and started drifting up the track, and he hit us. And we hit the wall head on right after it. Unbelievable. Wow. That's a heartbreaker if I've ever seen one before, man. That's like classic Jimmy Johnson 2020 right there. At Indy of all places. That's tough. Harvick had a good race going for him too, so we're going to get to see who actually won. Now, we did have another restart. Chase Elliott would have gotten back on the lead lap with that caution. And he would have been in 3rd place after Johnson and Truex both ended up likely missing the end of this one. I believe that's going to finish Jimmy Johnson in 38th, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's going to finish us in last, but it'll be a 38th place finish for Jimmy here. And we're going to take a look at the finishing results here in the Brickyard 400. Kevin Harvick, yep. Yeah, I don't like how it randomizes the order, but Harvick gets the win. That's his 3rd straight Brickyard 400 win. Busch falls back to 7th. We're going to say he had an issue on the final restart that came after this. But Kevin Harvick gets the win. 3 straight Brickyard 400s. He locks himself into the playoffs now. He's the 5th different winner this season. Rookie Bobby Carter, generated rookie 2nd. Joey Logano 3rd. Keselowski 4th. Kurt Busch rounds out the top 5. Then you have Chris Buescher in 6th. Kyle Busch 7th. Chase Elliott fell back to 8th. Clint Boyer 9th. And Daniel Suarez rounds out the top 10. In this one, we had 3 DNFs. In this one, we had Ty Dillon, who would have finished last. Martin Truex Jr., who would have finished 39th. And it scored him in 11th for whatever reason. And then we got scored in last, even though we technically would have finished 38th. So 38th place finish for Johnson today. And that is how we're going to end the first half of the regular season. A heartbreaker in the Brickyard 400 for Jimmy Johnson. And that points gap gets more and more narrow. That's a big win for Harvick. For Johnson to score 1 point and Harvick to get the win, that narrows the points gap for the regular season title. Remember, 15 playoff points on the line. As we now have a 40-point lead over Kevin Harvick. And other drivers crash out. Yeah, other drivers can crash out, but if you crash out, it scores you in last and it randomizes the running order after that. I've noticed that after the DNF at Martinsville in the truck series, the one truck series DNF we had too. Man, we had it. We had it, and then we just got loose randomly in turn 3. I did not expect that to happen. That was just crazy. That adds to the drama. That's definitely going to be one to go back and watch. That was a heck of a finish. But yeah, that is going to... It's going to be it. We go to New Hampshire tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button for more daily NASCAR content. This was a heartbreaker here tonight for Johnson in the Brickyard 400, but we'll try to get him back into victory lane tomorrow. We're going to have to do something good at New Hampshire because Harvick is closing that points gap for the regular season title. He's a whole 35 points ahead of Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch even for 3rd and 4th. So, yep, stay tuned tomorrow. Maybe we'll have another new winner on the season. Maybe Jimmy Johnson can find his way back to victory lane. Such a dominant car. We had the fastest car today too, man. There's a lot of terrible situations that happened there in those last 10 laps with that restart, but nevertheless, it was a good race. It was fun. It had its drama to say the least, and the second half of the regular season's picking up. So playoff business is only going to get more and more intense as we get later into this season. So again, thanks everybody for watching. Hit the like button down below if you enjoyed the race, commentary, the video in general. More realistic broadcast of NASCAR. Full race stream coming tomorrow again, New Hampshire. I'll see you then.